All right, 15. Two groups of hikers start the same time, hike at the same average speed. Mark's group hikes for this many hours, Si's group hikes for that many, and covers another 7.7. Write and solve an equation to find how fast the hikers are going. Okay, so we need them to be equal. So Mark's group travels for 2.5 hours. We don't know how much. And then Sally's group travels for 4.7 hours. But she goes that much further. So in order for them to be equal, you need to increase Mark's by 7.7. So a lot of people will put that on the other side. You need to understand what's happening here. She goes further. So in order for them to be equal, he needs to either add 7.7 miles or we would need to decrease it from Sally's. So let's solve that. We could just make our balance bar. So let's subtract 2.5x, subtract 2.5x, creates a zero pair. We're left with 7.7 equals, this is 2.2x. So for 15, we would need to divide by 2.2, divide by 2.2, x will equal 77 divided by 22. Just move the decimal once, move the decimal once. 22 goes into 77 3 times. That would be 66 minus, and we get, this is 11. Bring the decimal up, add a 0, bring it down. 22 goes into 110. Go to the side, do the multiples. 22, 44, 66, 88, 110. 5 times. So x equals 3.5. So 3.5 hours is when they are the same. Or, I'm sorry, no, how fast they're going. There's 3.5 miles per hour. 16. She earns 10% bonus based on her annual salary plus the number of sales she makes. She made 250 sales and earned that much. Write and solve an equation to find her salary last year. Okay. She earned $5,000 bonus. So that is, she earns 10% of her sales plus the number of sales. 10% bonus, so it would be 0.1 times x plus 250. Now we would solve. So it'd be 0.1x plus 25 equals 5,000. Actually, I probably would have liked to multiply by 10. Multiply by 10 just to get rid of that decimal. So this becomes 50,000, and this would become x. Because this would actually, let me erase all that. When we multiply by 10, this would become 10 times 0.1 is 1. X plus 250 equals, if we distribute this, we would get 50,000. So then we can just take rid, or multiplying by 1, we can just get rid of the parentheses. Subtract 250. And so x would equal 49,750. So there was the equation. And the answer is 49,750. On to 17. Solve the equation. So 1/3, 12 plus x equals negative 8, 6 minus x. We got to get rid of this fraction. So multiply both sides by 3. 1/3 of 3 is 1. 12 plus x. 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. 6 minus x. Now we distribute. 12 plus x will equal 24 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 12, 13, 14. So negative 144 plus 24x. We're subtracting and then we'll get a negative. Subtract x from both sides. Those create a zero pair. 12 equals negative 144 plus 23x. Add 144 to both sides. 23x equals 156. And 23 goes into 156. I don't think it does, so let's just divide by 23, and we're actually going to write that as our answer. X equals 156 over 23. On to 18. Tell whether this has how many solutions. So, if you distribute this, when we distribute that, we get 2x, half of 2 is 1, equals 8 plus 2x. We would need to subtract 2x, and we get negative 1 equals 8. This is not a true statement, so 18 has to be, there are no solutions, so 0. 19, complete the equation so it has a solution of x equals 2. All right, so let's look at this one. Let's solve it. Right now, what is it? So if we distribute this, we would get 20x minus 4 times 4 is 16 equals 4x. So I want to deal with positives, so I'm going to subtract 4x, subtract 4x. So we'd get 16x minus 16, and there's nothing left over here. But now we need to move the 16 over. So add 16, add 16. These cancel. 16x equals 16. Now, here's where we need to add add the answer. Add what needs to go here. So 16 times what gives us 16? If we solve this right now, we would get 1. We don't want 1, we want 2. So what would we need to do over here to get this number doubled? We would need to add 16. If we add 16, we would get 16x equals 32, and then divide by 16, x equals 2. So here we would add 16. On to 19, write that in scientific notation. Scientific notation has a base number. In this case, 1.5 has to be at least 1 and less than 10. So we'll multiply this by 10. How do we get the decimal from here to here? We would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So it'd be 1.5 times 10 to the 7th.